What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Maha Report. Before I carry on, I just wanted to ask you all to hit the like, subscribe and notification button so you're all made aware when new content is coming through. But let's move on to tonight's game. We are in the Europa League and it's a big game because I think last night confirmed that if anybody still thought we were in the title race, that's more than dead. And we are now in a top 4 race, as I mentioned in my previous video. Before I get to the game, I just wanted to talk a few things that's in the news today. Starting with rumours that Chelsea are no longer interested in Declan Rice. Obviously, Tuchel has just come in and he's got new transfer priorities. I think he's got his experience of Europe and the players around available has put him off the Declan Rice deal, because it will be a heavy deal. I think that makes us front runners to sign him, because we could, we have Lingard who's at West Ham at the moment. We could offer a package deal where we offer maybe 40 million plus Lingard, and I'll even throw in Jones for free just for the sake of it if it gets him out of off our books. So that would be a great opportunity for us to possibly make early inroads into signing Declan Rice, because CDM has always been, for a long time, a big issue for us. And I have been putting it off because I just wanted to see where our future is with Ollie and the system, because there are different types of CDM, and what we don't want is to buy the wrong type and then we get a new manager in the summer and he wants a completely different team. And this is where things of like a director of football philosophy, a set philosophy, really comes in handy when you compare us to teams like Bayern Munich. They buy the players set on the club's philosophy, and and the director of football plays a big part of it. What we have is we sign players per manager on their own different styles of play, instead of hiring the players based on our philosophy and then finding the managers that suit the players. And so Declan Rice is a great player. I hope we sign him. I just hope that whether Ollie stays or goes, whoever the new manager is, or if he does stay, that he plays him the right way and he's exact kind of player that we need, and we could end this monopoly with McFred. Another thing that I thought that should be considered is that how big our transfer budget is this summer. And I don't think it's as big as people think. I know that we saw Sancho play last night against one of our other targets, Kwande, because we do need a new centre-back. A lot of people are still on the Sancho deal. I don't think it makes sense for a few reasons. One, as I stated before, we've bought lots of quality wing players like Diallo, who it doesn't make sense to sign them and then to bring in a Sancho, especially for the money we paid for them. And also, I don't think the transfer budget is that big this summer. I think it's going to be quite low. I think if we spend 80 million on Sancho, we're not going to get other players in. We might off any money we make from the Pogba sale, but ultimately, I don't think it works. So if we just sign Sancho, would that suit all of our problems? I don't think it will. And this could create a problem where we just spend another season out of the top 4 race, or even the title race even. And for me, I think the Sancho thing needs to put to a side, and I think tonight is a great opportunity to clarify that aspect with the game against Sociedad. What I don't want to see tonight is Mata and Dan James on the bench or on the starting lineup. What I want to see is Diallo in the starting lineup. It's time for us to clarify: is he good enough? Is he ready to start in the starting 11, especially going from next season? Because if we can get him in, if he can perform to a great level, even if we can see the progress that we know going into next season, he can be the right winger that we've been looking for, then the whole Sancho thing will be dead in the water. I questioned it when we didn't sign Sancho and we made panic buys in the last minute to sign Diallo and all these other players like Cavani even. But now we've signed them, we need to test them. We need to see if can they fill the void, And I know that's a big ask of Diallo, who just joined, and he's not as proven as Sancho. But we can't just keep wasting £80 million on players, filling in gaps and then doing random buys at the same time. So I hope Diallo starts. I hope it's not Mata or Dan James, and this could hopefully kill that story in the summer. Or if he's really awful, then we really need to look at why we sign Diallo and waste 40 million on him, and we do need to go in for Sancho, which will affect our other targets this summer in terms of a centre back and a CDM. Hopefully Oli plays him. Hopefully he makes a big impact on the game, and we can go forward from there. But as I mentioned earlier, I don't think we have the budget that everybody expects. I think everybody's budget is quite low this summer. It might just be 2 players. That's based on the sale of Pogba, and we need to be shrewd. We need to get Diallo in the team. He needs to play, and ideally we don't sign Sancho. We get a good CDM and a centre back this summer. Moving on, in other news, we've got the spate of injuries coming through, especially out of tonight's game, with Cavani out, and so is Donny joining Pogba on the injury list. They're definitely not available for tonight's game at least. And we also have Martial and McTominay that are not, sadly, are doubts. They've travelled to Turin, but it's going to be very doubtful if they play. And I just think that now is the time, again, as I mentioned about bringing in Diallo, now is the time to bring him in, and we do need to. And Ollie's criticism, my criticism of Ollie has always been the lack of rotation and using up the squad. With the injuries that have come in, with the big games coming up, away to City, away to Chelsea, we are in the top 4 race, as in not in a good way. We're in a battle for a top 4 position. We need to start rotating the squad, and I feel like the Europa League is an option where we should do that. And this is a chance for him to rest some key players, bringing some players that we need to find out how good they can be moving forward. So it helps our transfer decisions in the summer. And I think Diallo needs to start. I'm presuming Greenwood will be up front with Cavani injured, so that's going to be Rashford or we could go with Rashford, I suppose. It doesn't have to be Greenwood, because no, we would have to use Greenwood because Martial is out, isn't he? So we're looking at what is that? Rashford, Fernandes, Diallo, and then Greenwood up front potentially. So it's going to be a tricky game. I hope we trial some players out, and it's just frustrating. We've been lucky with injuries so far, and then it's just in the last week or so it's starting to take toll, and now in a serious, important period where we find ourselves in trouble, it's going to affect us. And I do think that it's going to, I hope it doesn't really derail our season. So after the good start we did have, but we'll have to wait and see tonight. I'm not too fussed, if I'm honest. I'm actually not confident about tonight's result, but I think we will go through on the second leg at home. So that's my prediction for tonight's game. A little bit of a frustrating news for me is the way certain news is reported, and you might be aware that Mason Greenwood is in the news recently. Literally, you've got to question his timing. I'm sure the papers held on to this story. Stuff to do with his personal life. Again, he signs a new contract, gets a big deal, and everybody suddenly is interested in suddenly stories are leaked about his private life and what he's should not be doing. And all I'll say is that I'm very grateful that we have Rashford in our team, because I think he's been a great example to young players. And if Mason is, finding it difficult, he really needs to look at, how Marcus Rashford is, managing his personal life, how he's, he's new career, money, fame as a young man, and he needs to learn from him, because other players like Martial has had issues since joining us with his personal life hitting the news, controversies, and I just think there's a clear objective by the media to try and knock you down, go after certain players, and I think he needs to be smart about this and not expose himself to these idiots, as far as I'm concerned, and just look at the example set by somebody like Marcus Rashford and see how he can get through this stage of his career and obviously focus on the football, cement his position in the team. And as I've always said, he should be our number 9 long term, and that's what he needs to focus on now. And all this nonsense off the field needs to go get out, be forgotten about and left behind. I'm confident, of a good result this evening, but like I said, I'm more interested in our performances and the games coming up ahead, in the league. So hopefully we'll do well, and let's see what happens.